Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of my texturing tutorial. In this tutorial I think it's going to be much quicker. We're just going to do some bullets, and we're just going to do the trigger real quick. So, in the last episode I made a couple changes just off the recording while I was doing some test renders. And what I found, or what I added was some of these oils right here. I added just a couple of these just in some of the flat, larger areas to add some more interest to those areas. I believe I added some right here too. And then I also forgot to paint in these oils as well, so I added these as well. Let's see. I added some small scratches just right here. Just literally took the white speck and just scratched in some scratches here just to give it a bit of wear. Nothing too crazy there. Some here as well. And then what I did was I took an oil layer, a high gloss, and I just kind of painted in some oils on some of these bolts that I kind of forgot to do on screen. Like right here. Just a bit of something to kind of break up the highlight a little bit. So. Alright, so we can go ahead and just get started on the... we're gonna probably just knock out the trigger real quick. That's kind of just... Let me look at some reference here. So it's kind of just another silver metal, nothing too fancy about it. We can kind of see some sort of oily shapes kind of going in here, which we can add. Other than that, it's kind of the same material, so we can probably just duplicate it from the hammer. Wait for this to load. There we go. I believe I used this layer for everything. Yeah, so we can go ahead and Control C, Control V that guy, the trigger. Okay, we can go ahead and probably honestly just... Yeah, I don't really think we need to do any of these. I would just delete them all. Kind of just redo it real quick. We'll go ahead and delete some of these. We kind of just need two materials. One to separate out the bolt. So there we go. So this will not be... We'll make this one not metal. I was really struggling to find reference with this like tiny bolt. So it's in there, but it's I'm gonna go ahead and just make it non-metal. I have a feeling that it's not silver, so what we can do is we can take the diffuse from here, take the specular from here, and there we go. Increase the gloss on it. Okay, so for the trigger itself, let's go ahead and increase the gloss quite a bit. It's a very glossy looking trigger. You can go ahead and add a noise to it. For this, we're going to use Computer Plastic. Super quick and easy to add everything you want. Everything we want right here. Go ahead and just click it. Noticing the high poly kind of has these little pillowed edges. I might go ahead and fix that. However, that is something I'll have to do off stream and rebake, so I might fix that. That looks a little odd. It's gonna look pretty bad if we also do a test export with metal. Oh, that was weird. Yeah, that needs to get fixed. Alright, so I'm gonna fix that, but for now we'll just texture it right now, and then I'll just rebake. Not a huge deal. This reference, we can see a bit of brushing going that way. This reference, we can't see anything. Yeah, okay, so this thing's pretty standard, so we'll just give it a quick little cool pass, I like to call it. I'll do a UV border generator on it. Hit it with the invert. There we go. And let's do, maybe just make this glossy. Give it a nice little surface contrast there. Cool. Go ahead and get some brushing. Oops. Let me name these UV gloss, and I'll rename this to noise. And a noise. There we go. Let's go ahead and grab our Quixel brush. Quixel aluminum brushed. This trigger is really high res, I just realized. Let's go ahead and knock it down to 1K. There we go. I do have it on its own texture set for high resolution purposes, really. I kind of like doing that. I like to, for portfolio work at least, I like to put things on their own layer just to give them, or their own texture set to give them nice resolution. I very easily could have put it in with the body, but I was worried that I was going to be doing a lot of really close-up shots with this, so I kind of wanted something that was a bit more resolution, so went ahead and put it on its own layer. It's UV gloss. I'll try knocking it down. Doing that. See how that looks in the render. Let me see. So they're unwrapped in different directions, so we'll need to triplanar project. Yeah. Okay, and then let's give it rotation kind of like that. I think that looks nice. Brush. Let's see how this looks so far. It is not visible. Can stamp it out quite a bit. Let's go ahead and add some variation to it. So again, this is kind of a situation where the reference is just kind of a bit bland, so we're gonna kind of go make our own road, you know, go our own path with it. Cool. Knock it up a little bit. Add another layer of brushing. This time we'll put it on the front surface. There we go. Let's do. I have a good idea. It might be cool to do kind of like what we did on the other, on the hammer. It might be kind of cool to do this, to add stripes, like milling marks there. It might be kind of cool. Let's go ahead and get stripes. Because we do have quite a high resolution to work with, so this will hopefully look pretty good. Rotate it 45. Let's paint, add it to multiply. That, and let's see, does that work? That works too. Cool. And let's do diffuse, turn that off. Let's just have this effect in the gloss and the height. So height, we'll knock it down. Let's go ahead and grab this UV border distance again and subtract it. That looks really cool. That effect looks really, that looks awesome. So let's take the height and knock it down. Oh yeah, that looks cool. Great. Go down in the gloss. And that same loud car decides to turn on. Well, I mean, he gets in his car right when I'm recording. That's just the way the world works, I guess. But so I think when we zoom out, it's not noticeable at all. So let's go ahead and increase it. Go ahead and increase the height a tiny bit. Cool. I don't think I have an angle set up to test render that, but we can kind of see it. I think it'll look cool. I have a hunch. Yeah, I don't have a test angle set up. I could just do this actually. Duplicate that. Wrong way. There. Looks cool to me. Looks cool. Some nice brushing. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and add some oils, but first we need to stripe milling. There we go. Let's go ahead and add some oils. Oh, that looks kind of cool. So one thing that I like to do with my oils is I like to kind of, on the triggers of guns at least, I like to add a bit of like leaking oils around here. Because I feel like it's, you know, the internals of the gun are right above it, you know, so there's got to be some oils too. And you probably oil up your trigger too, so that's the idea behind these oils. Go ahead and just softly paint them in. Oh, and then let's go ahead. Let's just add a fill, see if a fill will take care of it. Set it to linear dodge add. Go ahead and grab like fingerprints, grunge fingerprints 30. Drag that in there, see how that looks. Oh, gives us some nice like little hair-like shapes. Let's go ahead and duplicate that up. Remove the paint. Rotate this and set it to dirt. When I say set it to dirt, I just mean lower the gloss. I don't probably not say that, but not bad at all. Not bad. Go ahead and do a test export real quick. See how that's looking. Looking good. I think I'm gonna lower the intensity of the brushing. It kind of not really super happy with the brushing. Just have it make a really subtle effect, I think. Yeah, something like that. One thing I think I'll increase the specular on the. It looks a lot brighter, you know, than the hammer. So I think I will increase the specular on it. There we go. Let's make one change at a time. Make one change at a time. That's a good idea. I think that's pretty good. I really don't see that we need to do any more work to it other than maybe a couple of little scratches, maybe. Yeah, the pillowing effect, I need to fix that. Looks really bad. Can't believe I didn't catch that during the baking, but that's how we roll. That's how we roll. Maybe one thing I'll do is I'll take another layer, just kind of put it on here, and increase the gloss on it, maybe? Give the surfaces a different feel. Why did that? Oh, the diffuse was on. Just forget to do that sometimes. Give it a different feel than the side of the trigger. That could be cool. We also have the oils working with us there on the bolts. We can just go ahead and apply the other material to it. Let's go ahead and make another noise layer, assign it to the bolt. This one will make it gritty. Hit the gritty, there we go. Let's go ahead and lower the gloss on it. It's like not really reading as metal right now. Then we can go ahead and Hmm. Oh, we had a weird diffuse on it. That's why I was wondering why I was reading like kind of blue. There we go. Maybe increase the gloss a bit. We don't really need to do all that much work to it. We can do a little bit of this. Maybe just take a high spec layer and just kind of do this to it. You can try. Give it a soft little paint right there. It's kind of annoying. Specular, there we go. Maybe just give it a bit more specular just to kind of help it feel more like a metal in there. I think that looks good enough. We don't really need to do much more to it. Any more than that, I think we're just kind of wasting time. So, see how that looks. It reads like a really glossy metal. There we go. So one thing about doing really high gloss metals like we're doing here is that the lighting will sometimes overexpose it and blow it out. So there may be some post-processing we have to do in Photoshop after, and so if you want to, if you're following along with this tutorial and go to render some of these parts exactly the same gloss that I have it, and it looks blown out in certain renders, you might just need to go in and just kind of crank the slider down a bit. But yeah, I think we've got good specular. Actually, I have an idea. I have another idea. What if we put some specular values in the like in a Perlin noise type of deal? I have an idea. I'm going to try it. I don't usually do this, but we can. A random thought came to me, so grab our 3D Perlin noise, drag it in, scale it to 1,000,000. Just kidding. This might make it look really dirty, so I think we're gonna kind of be careful with it. Doesn't look like it really added a whole lot, right? How we have it right now. Let's increase the brushing just a tiny bit. Teeny tiny bit, just to give it a bit more interest. A little bit more. Right there. From a distance, give it a bit more interest. There we go. My monitor just made a weird noise. Oh. Looks pretty cool. All right. I think we can roll with that. So let's go ahead and move on to the bullets. Okay, so we can... Let's take this silver and recycle it. So my bullets, what I did was I unwrapped 2, and I made the rest unique for symmetry. So we got 1 and 2 over here on the side, and the rest are duplicated and rotated around. So now that I look at it, I have 1, 2. Yeah, okay, so I have 3 1s and 3 2s, and they're given somewhat random rotations. I gotta rotate these, but so one problem with game art that you'll probably run into is, we definitely do not want to unwrap 6 bullets, like, unique, unless you're I don't know, maybe Call of Duty, maybe they do that for that, but so what we're gonna have to kind of do is worry about how we're gonna deal with unique details that are gonna show up right next to each other. So it's probably gonna be a good idea to have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, so that they're you don't noticeably see unique symmetry details right next to each other, because that just kind of ruins the game art illusion, right? So go ahead and duplicate this. So trigger, let's go to the bullets. Need more bullets. I apologize, that was cringe. Let's go ahead and lower, actually. So with this project, I'm going super high resolution on things. So for my portfolio, I wanted to really like micro detail these bullets. So we might stick to 2K for now, possibly. We do not need any milling. I know that for a fact. I know bullets do not have milling details like. So let's. We can see this black tip on these. These are 44 magnums. Oh, this reference right here is awesome. So like, if we really wanted to put in this detail, it'd be a little hard to sell it as not being symmetried with other bullets. So, but we're gonna do all this detail in here. We're gonna do all that. It's gonna look so sick. All right. Let's grab brass. A nice brass color. Go ahead and give it some gloss. Oh, we have this UV gloss thing that we don't want. Cool. A little too saturated, give it about right there. I'm actually gonna do one thing. Okay, I'm back. I went ahead and actually grabbed a bullet from my ammo box, whatever you want to call it, and so I can actually see the brass value, and I'm holding it up to the monitor and giving it, and I think I actually just nailed it right there. Yeah, I think that's just about perfect. I'll put that over there. Cool. This actually bullet has a lot of cool details that we're going to add to our bullet here, actually. Yeah, this is going to be cool. All right, cool. Real reference. Legally obtained. Just FYI. Need to point that out. So let's go ahead and export. We're done with the trigger, so let's go ahead and export the bullet. There we go. See our bullet. Right now, the oils and stuff are really kind of low res and kind of blurry. Yeah, super low res. So let's take our. This is our like dirt layer. Let's rename that to dirt. How did the dirt look? Dirt is almost super fine and yeah, so the dirt is like super fine looking. Not gonna worry too much about that now. A couple of things that I do notice about this bullet that I have in my hand, which may not be accurate to these particular 44 Magnum bullets that we're looking at. But I gotta figure out what that going around there is. That looks cool. Looks like some sort of a milling lines or something. That's pretty easy to add. We can do that. I noticed down here, I don't know why, but there's like a little red stripe here. This we can change to red like that. Add a paint. Let's go ahead and, what kind of stencil would work for this? Honestly, we can just paint it. We don't need. One thing we will need to do is we'll need to texture both sides, or both bullets twice. Let's go ahead and set up symmetry. So I can just quickly, actually setting up Vertical symmetry isn't a bad idea. Huh, not a bad idea. I really wish I could move this gizmo like left and right. I don't know why they don't let you do that. It's kind of hard to line it up if it's... But check that out. I didn't... Oh, cool. Didn't think of doing that. And you can only toggle one symmetry at a time. Probably an easier way to do this, but we're just going to kind of paint this little red area around. Let's grab the spec channel, see what we're doing. It's kind of brushy. Let's go ahead and get a stencil. Let's grab all libraries. Let's grab a stencil. I like to use this one that I got this one from textures.com. This one will do wonderfully. Yeah. So something, literally just gonna take it and just paint in this line and flip it for the other side. Oh. Then let's lower it. Let me look at it again. It is very subtle. It is super subtle. I don't even know if we'll see that in the render. By the way, if I sound different this episode, it's because I'm standing. I think the lighting is quite harsh, maybe not really ideal for rendering these bullets. Let's try decreasing the spec. So we get something a little less bright, a little easier to see. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm actually going to, because we need a high gloss, that's just what this thing is. It's a very shiny silver, or not silver, shiny brass. So I think I'm going to set up a different lighting setup in Marmo. Let's go ahead and export it. Let's mess with some lights. Let's go ahead and add these to a folder. Call it good test lighting. Okay, let's turn it off. Let's go ahead and duplicate it. We'll call this bullet lighting. Bullet lighting, there we go. Turn it on. Start messing with some values here. Lower the brightness all around. Mess with the rotation. Oops. Okay. Strange, why is it? We have something weird going on. When I lower the brightness of this. Okay, I'm back. So I was dealing with a weird painter bug, so I went ahead, or not painter, marmoset bug, where I was lowering the brightness, but it wasn't like actually working. So I had to go ahead and just make new lights. So this is what I got. It's gonna be a bit tricky to get these right, but we'll just kind of we'll texture with something kind of like this. Let's add another light to get the back of the bullet showing. That. Like that. We'll stick to that for now, just to kind of get preview how these are gonna look. So one thing we'll notice is the roughness still looks very low res, which is kind of odd. Doesn't show up here either. Go ahead and render back. Oh, I was looking at, I have a feeling we're going to run into this problem a lot. I was looking at the other, looking at this bullet. Okay, so let's go ahead and just remove these oils. Or actually, we should probably just scale them up. And nuke them. There we go. So one thing about bullets is there's a lot of really tiny micro scratches in these things. So I have a few ideas of what we can do. Let's try to see if we can grab maybe a stencil, like something that's high frequency. Maybe some, actually, let's grab, maybe paint in something like this. No, I don't think that will do it. Let me see. Grab this grunge scratches dirty. See if we can work with something here. Not really liking it. Let's change the tiling to H&V. Let's try that. Take the gloss, maybe increase it slightly. Take it super slightly down in the height, but we do something like I want to put a lot of effort into these bullets. I want them to look really cool. You don't always get the time to micro detail something like this. It's kind of cool to do it. Let's just go ahead and turn off the height for that. Looking at it, it looks like we still need a bit more work with this layer here. We add a sharpen. See, there's just too much of this noise. Let me see if we can try to remove some of it. Just kind of keep the scratching. Yeah, nothing quite working there. Let's try a different stencil. We're gonna have to try to grab another one. Or a different fill layer, rather. I think this one will work. It's one of David Grurier's grunges. Maybe not this one. Maybe something like this could work. We scale it down. Paint it on. Rotate it so we don't get too obvious of stencil, of like same details repeating, you know? You can try something like this. Go ahead and add, try the sharpen filter, see if that helps. Okay, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Yeah, I can see the stencil, the recycled details, so let's go ahead and fix that. Yeah, like right here. Okay. One quick, actually, I have another quick little idea to try with this. We'll call this micro scratches. Micro scratches 2. I have an interesting idea we can try. We can add a fill, grab the anisotropic, linear anisotropic fill there, default from Painter. Rotate it, increase the scale. Now we can mess with some of these parameters. We can try X amount, we can change the balance, increase the contrast. We want to make sure it doesn't look like it's tiling. That looks pretty bad. Okay. It's not bad. I'll add another fill to it, give it like a black and white spot, set it to multiply. We can kind of mask out some areas. Okay, that's not terrible. We just manually, let's see. Okay, we can leave it at that. I'm sure that'll look good. Another thing we can do is we can add some noise. The good old Perlin noise. And in this, I think we'll try putting some of it in the specular too. We'll see how that works. No diffuse, no height. Just gloss. And a bit of specular. Let's see how this... What if we increase the specular? What if we do like that? Let's do specular noise on a different layer, actually. I've changed my mind. I grew and learned as an individual. There we go. It's the contrast, we can get pretty noisy. Set the gloss to overlay, perhaps. Gloss to overlay. So we don't lose some of the details beneath it. That would be unfortunate. Take this, set it to multiply. I'll mask in a bit more. Yeah, let me look at the bullet here. Okay, cool. I think that looks pretty good. So this looks, see how it looks. So if I hold up my bullet to it, it looks, these details almost look fake. Let me, so a couple things that I'm noticing when I hold my bullet up to the screen there is that I don't know if I turned down the saturation in this camera. Not sure why it's looking kind of gray. Where's this camera? What did I do with it? Oh, wait. For some reason my main camera was like in the render, but anyways, saturation, weird because I have increased saturation, but it's still just not, it's kind of like not showing up as colored, so look as the color I want, I should say. Go ahead and boost it up, there we go. Take the, see how the red specular looks. Okay, that's much better. Let me, yeah, that's cool. Okay. I have an idea. So a lot of this variation kind of comes in the normal channel, it looks like. The height is going to be a bit too low res, so I think what we're going to do is use a Quixel material. Quixel Metal Steel Dusty. Go ahead and try this out. Let's see it. Nope, I don't like it. I'm gonna stick with this for now. Let's go ahead and add these stripes right here. These I don't know what these are, but obviously it has something to do with the manufacturing process of these bullets. So they're about right here. I always forget to increase my spacing brush. I always go ahead and increase the opacity. Do this a couple times. This part isn't really like necessary, but well, I mean it is necessary for what we're gonna do. This is really stupid. Why are we doing this? Let's do add black mask. Add a fill. Set this to planar projection. Projection cropped to shape. Boom, boom, crank those up. Do this. I believe we need to rotate it to the side so we can see what, or project it correctly. Maybe we need to rotate it this way. Yeah. If you did it the other way, you'll get like a blurred edge, which we don't want. So make sure it's rotated the right way. We want about there. About there. Okay. Go ahead and add fill. Grab stripes. Where are you? There you are. Set it to autosave kicking in. Thank you. Set it to multiply. Set the rotation of 135. Set the pattern to. Don't do that. Let's lower the scaling. Right about there looks about right. Go ahead and just knock them down in the gloss. I think that's what we're looking for. And let's go ahead and give them a tiny bit of variation. Cool. Try that out. That looks great. That looks great. I'm gonna kind of make a change. The bullets in the render just look really dirty. Having a bit of difficulty with these. Let's take the gloss. Just take all the layers, knock them down by like 50%. Okay, we can knock some of them back up a little bit, just a tiny bit. Okay, let's go with that for now. We already have a specular noise layer somewhere that's working. One of these layers is affecting the specular. Okay, this one is. See how that looks. Cool. We can go ahead and add some. Hold on one second. Let me look at this reference here. Let's go ahead and add some bigger Well, there's like some sort of like directional stuff going vertically down the bullet that I'm seeing. So maybe we let's try some of this. What if we just have these be in the height? Let's see what that do. No, that's not what I want. Out of levels to take out some of the gray values. Don't need them. A sharpen filter. Test export, see how it looks. Yeah, it's a little much. Let's paint out some of them. Low opacity brush, just paint out some of the... Make them feel a bit non-symmetry, so... yeah, this is way too much. All right. Taking a look again here. We kind of see a difference in roughness values, and I'll do that right now. We have this base layer here duplicated out of black mask. It's almost like the rear part here is slightly less glossy. Yeah, something like that. Pretty gritty, this thing. Is this not, oh, this thing wasn't on. Let's try this layer out. We can, yeah, let's go ahead and try. This looks really good, cool. The Quixel normal materials really carry. They really are quite good. We could also try another one if we wanted to. Quixel metal. This one isn't really doing much for us. Go back to what we had before. This one looks nice. Wish we could, let's just paint out some of these. These are definitely not realistic to what we're trying to achieve on this. Let's just see how it looks. See what it looks like first, before we jump to any conclusions. See, it looks a lot dirtier now, so we might be want to consider is turning down some of these large scratches. It's kind of why it's important to nail down like a Quixel material first, which I probably should have done, but again, texturing is trial and error, so yeah. All right, let's work with that for now. Let's increase, let's put back some of these, some of the noise, sure. We'll make them feel not pristine, kind of, because we're gonna kind of do this to them. I guess we can go for a bit of a dirtier look. I guess I should have done that. One thing I noticed about these bullets is that they have a little red painted ring. And a really quick way to just add a quick ring to something is just to do yeah, literally just like that. That's how it is. What color is it? It's like a dark, deep red. It's not very glossy, I can tell. Okay. Take this B&W's black and white spots. Okay. Let's go ahead and do another paint. Same sort of deal here. This a few times, bring it in a few times. A little smaller. Maybe on this bullet we remove it a bit, right? More right here on this left side here. Give it some variation. Cool. One thing I'm noticing is that the outsides are a bit more saturated. Colors are a bit different from here, so go ahead and grab our base layer. Oops. There we go. Believe this is UV'd out. Oh, there we go. Go ahead and saturate it a bit more. Okay. You can sort of see the edges of it are a bit glossier, so let's add that. We can do that up here. Don't need to do anything super fancy for this. I don't think it's gonna look. It's not. It's a super subtle effect, so we don't really need to paint like major stencils or really look too CG either. So that's good. Oh, let's go ahead and add the text to it. I believe I have my stencils that include the bullet decals that we need. These may not be perfect, but they will turn off the tiling. That was annoying. But they will get the job done, I believe. Alright, I fixed up my stencil, and here we are. Go ahead and put in our 44. Shade it a tiny bit. Put in our G. Put in our stars. Just like that. That. Went ahead and just drew in these quick little lines here. These need to be a bit smaller actually, so I think what I'll do is I will just grab this, grab the spacing, so I can do smooth lines. You do this by pressing D, it's the distance, I don't know why they call it that, it's just a smooth brush, so we're just gonna kind of do that. Bothering me. All right. Let's do some cool stuff to it. So let's grab this, add a fill, or actually add a filter to it. Let's do this. I have a couple ideas that I want to try. I want to blur it, then I'll add levels to it. That should give us an interesting little stamp effect there. Got some that. Let's go ahead and knock down the gloss. I see our stencil did not line up. Nice. Our symmetry, rather, did not line up. What I'm going to do to fix these shapes here is I'm just going to grab the ring partial grayscale, just paint in this like that, and then just cut out a section in the middle like that. Round off the tip. Off a bit more actually. Get even though. There you go. Just do something like that. Kind of hacky, but we get the point. It's a little longer on this side, it looks like. You know, making them a bit different kind of like looks cool, I guess. Not really intended, but definitely is not the worst detail I've ever seen. Kind of just, these things are mass produced, you know, so there's gonna be differences in the stamping and stuff like that. Although I just don't like these ones. These are bothering me. Do that. Wait. With that, get our levels. Let's add a slight filter to it. Let's add a slight warp. Nice. That destroyed it. Okay. Let's grab this anchor. let's click on color selection. Add an anchor point there. Call this text stamp. Add a black mask. Add a fill. Let's grab our anchor. Add a filter. Another blur. Blur it quite a bit this time. Take the filler, duplicate it up, and subtract. Oh. Now we can do some cool stuff here. We can increase the gloss. Increase the height. Text stamp might even be a bit too stamped in. Looks a bit fake almost. Okay. Now let's add some details. The one thing we will see is this burning effect going on. Let's just make the specular like way darker. Let's grab the spec. Darker, yeah, something like that. Add a fill to it. Let's give it a texture. Let's give it grunge leaks dirty. Set it to multiply, so we only apply it to this area. Bump the res up. There we go. Not quite getting the burned look to it though, so. Okay, let's keep working on it, see what we can do. Starting to work in some of this detail. Maybe we'll start getting some cool stuff going. Let's do a simple dirt generator. Maybe not. Maybe we just add a paint. I think we can use one of these stencils that Painter has. Yeah, I think these will work, honestly. Painter has these alphas called like coffee leaks, coffee stains, coffee cup. Just paint it in, you know. That going. Add a paint layer, set it to linear dodge add. We can get some more stencils in. We'll want to duplicate this as well down here. Also do this. I noticed this was in one of the references. Got a line like that. Okay. Keep working, keep working. Cool, something like that. Is that another, let's get like a damage thing going. This is a custom alpha that I like to use. Textures.com again. Add in some specs here and there. You almost see some like sort of greenish colors coming in too. So maybe we do that in the specular as well. Get a bit of green going. Let's see if I can see that on my bullet here. If I, not really, but I'm kind of seeing it in this reference here. Let's just, honestly, we could probably just even black mask, add paint. I don't want these details to show up on the body of the pistol, or the body of the bullets. I just kind of want it detailed here. We're gonna do a really cool render with all this. It looks sweet. Let's see if we can go ahead and just paint it in. I grab a, you probably just grab a default painter grunge. You don't need anything super fancy. Grunge paper ripped. Oh, I love this stencil actually. I like it. I'm gonna paint in some of this green. Bear with me, it looks terrible, but looks like the Green Goblin sneezed on it. Very subtle, and I like it. Maybe add a sharpen filter to it. Cool. Let's go ahead and add some orangey reddish stuff to this. One thing I noticed, we need to remove that. That looks terrible. Too bad. There we go. Looks bad as well. Specular, crank it to red. So I think a lot of, when you're doing like a raw metal like this, I think a lot of the details are held in the specular as opposed to the diffuse and stuff like that. I think things just kind of tend to work out better and look better if you do that. Let's try to drag in just like some random grunge here. Doesn't really need to be anything fancy. Grunge brushed large, try that. Okay. The more I look at this like line right here, I don't like it, so let's paint it out. Modify it a little bit so I like it. Here we go. Kind of see what we're doing here. We need some normal map help. This is not working. We need quite a bit of we need to grab a Quixel. Sure which one we're gonna use. Maybe Dusty Steel again. I duplicated it so it made it a bit stronger. Still wasn't quite getting what I wanted out of it. Just kind of wild. No, we juiced it. I'm not sure why it's... See how that looks. Did I forget to rotate it so we don't get any of those scratches? They don't really look that great. Rotate it some more. Really don't like those scratches that the normal map comes with. It just doesn't look good to me. Okay. One thing I'm noticing is that it's really just not the gloss we got wrong. It's like way more matte. Honestly, I think we're just gonna do it on this face here. Not in there, just here and here. We're gonna lower the gloss quite a bit. We're gonna see what happens. Let's take this. Still want to paint out some of these scratches that I don't like. Okay. Maybe we can add just a... Fortunately, the lighting kind of is like super flat on it. Oops, painter. How's it look if it's zoomed out? If it's zoomed out, I think it looks great, but when you zoom in, we kind of lose the illusion a little bit on some of the details, so I think what we're gonna have to do is probably maybe consider exporting it out at 4K. So we can keep working though. This burned stuff is just still not showing up, and I don't know why. See what that looks like, just to see. Okay, so that's more like what we're looking for, but it's still just like... I think it was because of the filler that I applied to it. But even then, it shouldn't really do that. black dirt, we can kind of use these two layers in combination. So we're just gonna grab like a stencil and like this and just kind of do that to it. Okay. Add a bit more here. Something over here too, just something like this. There we go. We can grab this black dirt, kind of mix the layers together a little bit. Get a really cool effect. Over the greening effect. Paint in some more black dirt right here. I just scratched my head, sorry. Okay, something like that. Paint in a bit more. Yeah, turn off the diffuse there and just bring the specular more towards black. I guess with good lighting, these look pretty nice. Cool. I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna add another kind of color, but this one's just gonna be a lighter metal. So we can crank. Kind of do that. Kind of see it in like one of these. Like we can kind of give it a little bit more. I know how to explain it. It's just like a worn out sort of look to it. See how that looks in the render. Okay. Try adding like maybe I'll try adding a sharpen filter maybe. There it is. Do the normals. They look really weird. Let's see what that looks like. Let's try it. Nope, that looks pretty bad. Let's add it back, but reduce it like intensely. There we go. Maybe something like that will look better. Let's add some of these circle brushing, and I think to do that we can use radial. So there's a painter fill called anisotropic radial. We can actually I just plugged that into the wrong thing. Yeah, something like this. I'm gonna fix it in a second, but something. Let's just do that. Let's just pencil the whole thing on there. Add a paint, set it to multiply. We can remove this. Let's adjust there, here, here. Okay, so let's adjust the levels of it. Let's knock it down in the height, see what we can come up with here. Yeah, that looks. Let's try it. I like it. I like it. I am going to subtract from it the text, actually. So if we grab the, let's call this radial. Let's grab the text that we did. Should have an anchor point on it. Where did we do? There we go. See that? So subtract it out of the text there. That's cool. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate them. So this one we're going to have no height. We're just going to have it in the gloss. Have it kind of giving us a more interesting gloss variation. Then on this one, we're going to make it the same, but it's going to have the height information that we want. And then I want to manually paint out some of them, some areas. So what we did looks super strong, and I think it's coming from the gloss. Reduce the gloss quite a bit. Let's see how that looks. Yeah. Reduce it even more. It's showing up quite intensely, so. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let's move on to the bullet itself. I want to see if we can just do it all in kind of one, just kind of recycle some layers. Grab another base, call it copper. And we're going to try and color pick one of these guys here. Go. Add black mask. Do the copper bullet. There we go. Let's make the bullet glossier. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Let's go ahead and add this black like paint. I don't really know what this is for, but I forget what it is, but we're gonna do it. Actually, the more I look at the highlight on this, I think it's more of like a black silver. Just we'll have to try some stuff out. Set it to planar, we're gonna do a planar projected square again. Set the hardness and all that to 1. Set it to cropped to shape. We can do this. It looks like it's like about right there actually. That looks, yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's puff it out in the height. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I'll anchor the black paint, add a black mask, add a fill. I'll do the height on a separate layer. Add a blur to the height so we can kind of get this effect going. want it to be overlapped, just like that. And then take down the height. Slider, like that. There we go. Gotta paint on top of it. Chew up the edge a little bit. That looks pretty cool. So while we add this detail, I get a lot of questions frequently on my work. A lot of people ask me like my time frame. I'd say your like time frame wise, like doing a whole gun will probably take about a month. If you're doing for portfolio quality, I think it really should take about a month. That's I guess that's if you are like working, I guess. Because I mean, I work, so I don't always have time to just keep on modeling and stuff, which I would like to, but I don't have time for that. So I would say modeling this whole gun probably took like a week or so. And then doing the high poly for it probably took a few days to do. I don't really have good estimate there, but I really think that time frame really comes down to like client work. That's really where it matters, sort of. So I don't really worry too much about, especially for portfolio work. You don't really need to. I don't really think you need to show like the time that it took you to make something. I don't really think that's like super important, but it will matter once you get sort of into the industry. Deal with some real deadlines. Okay. Bullet is looking good. Popper bullet looks good too. You can kind of just mess with some camera settings a bit to get a little more realistic look that we're going for. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some work to this black paint stuff. We're gonna go ahead and duplicate this just so we can get the anchor points. Okay, add a fill to it. I want to get kind of like a bubbly sort of paint effect, so go ahead and grab this, set it to multiply. There we go, something like that. Oh man, that's really good. Looks really cool. Okay, maybe increase the gloss on these things, these bubbles, bubblies. This looks a bit cooler. Maybe would make them lighter too. We need to scale it back a bit more. I really like the. We'll do this on a separate layer. How about that? We'll just do this to take out the height from it. Alright, let's see how that looks. Looks really gray and silver, so I'm gonna knock it down. It's kind of strange why it looks so gray. Well, I guess in some of the pictures it does look pretty gray, so... I see a big error I made. Oh boy. So make sure this is checked, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to check that. So we need to do some... Which is strange. We have a few errors actually I need to fix. That's on a different layer. Okay, I had to fix that real quick. We're getting... I'm gonna uncheck that just because it looks better like that. We need to figure out why this reading's so gray. I think it's because of like the lighting is just kind of overexposed. Yeah. Yeah, if we knock down the lighting, it gets to more of the color that we're looking for. I think we need to change these sort of height bubbles. We need to make these a bit less. Oops. What was I? There we go. They're too micro right now, so I'm making them a bit bigger and more blobbier, like kind of how we want. Okay. I do like these references. It gives a nice like contrast in the different elements of the bullet. So make sure we don't go too high, or else we start getting like this like black effect going on. The bullet is too glossy. I noticed that as well. That changed a lot, actually. Oops. Okay. Not really liking the effect on the tip right here. just feels kind of fake. So I think what I'll just do is a paint layer and just kind of paint it out. Nope, that's the wrong layer. Oops. Yeah, didn't really feel quite right. Aside from that, I can't really think of anything else to do to it. It's a pretty small detail. I don't know where it's going to be shown. Well, I guess if I do like a render of the bullets, it'll show up, but okay, I can't really see any other. That one's really shiny. Here we go. I didn't see this reference before. We can kind of see a bit more, maybe a bit more saturation in the bullet. Yeah. This render has kind of a lot of saturation, so that's pretty cool. I think what I will add real quick to the bullets is just a quick little oil pass. I'm seeing like this. We should put some fingerprints on these. I think we should put some fingerprints. I'm gonna grab. I'm gonna grab David Grurier. That's not where I want that. Grunge fingerprints black. And we're gonna paint on oils. Fingerprint smudges. Okay. Let's see how those look in the render. Don't really like this spot right here. I don't really like that. Don't know which angle I'll be rendering these from, so we should also work on the bottoms as well. Okay. Export. One thing I want to try real quick, actually. Remove some of these larger splotches, just tone them down a bit. I'm gonna add a quick little dirt. Let's add finger oils. Let's just do dirt. I'm seeing a lot of it in the reference, and I don't think we really captured it properly. We're just gonna use the same sort of filter or fill layer, stencil. I mean. Yeah, we don't really need to switch stencils. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, someone outside just honked. Don't they know I'm recording? Like, come on. I think we kind of went a bit longer on this part, but sorry about that. But I said it was going to be quick, but it turned out to not be quick. Autosave. Cool. Add a quick little sharpen. These details make them feel a bit more high res. They are. I think this is like looking pretty good. I think we sold the illusion pretty well. See if I can get the bullets to have a bit better lighting. Right there. Let's do that light, duplicate it, give it some more different angle. All right, I think we made a pretty realistic looking bullet. Let's tone down the height bubbles real quick, and then I think I'm gonna call it there for this part. Not that part, this part. Yeah, they were a bit too strong. They felt a bit fake. I think we went too saturated with the bullet. There we go. Now it's feeling a bit more like copper. Okay. All right, I'm gonna call it there. Thank you for watching. I might do I feel like I kind of need to do another pass on these at some point. When we finish the cylinder and try to do a render like this, I might need to do another pass on them. So if that happens, of course, we'll probably add another part to it. But for now, that'll do it. So thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next part.